Here we are then, time for the World Cup update. Ian Irving is here, who is our World Cup guru, and can I say hello to the hundreds of you that watch our World Cup updates online as well via our YouTube channel, via the website shine-tv.co.uk. Ian.
Morning.
Today is the day.
Hopefully.
Happy birthday, Fabio Capello.
Indeed, of course.
That's hopefully a good omen for us.
Yeah.
Is it going to have any bearing on his decision making? The size of the presents arriving in his office. Do you think that might have a bearing?
Robert Green might have bought him something special.
I think he would have been a carefully chosen gift. I wonder what it might have been.
Perhaps a pair of gloves going the other way would have been better.
Yeah, maybe a pair of gloves with slightly longer fingers, maybe.
I don't know. Well, that is one of his biggest decisions, of course, today. Being his 64th birthday, whether that'll have any bearing or sentiment to him, I don't know. Probably not, knowing Fabio Capello. I think Robert Green maybe is the biggest decision that he's got to make. Does he stick by him, or does he choose to change and bring in David James or Joe Hart? I personally think they'll probably will stick with Robert Green. If he's shown faith of him to start him in the first game of the World Cup, then I don't think one mistake probably will change that for him. He's got other decisions to make, of course. He's already said that Gareth Barry will start in midfield. Now, if that was someone like Sir Alex Ferguson, perhaps, you might think it was mind games, but Fabio Capello doesn't really say these type of things and not go with what he said. And
besides that one, OK, we see it as a major howler because of the impact it had on that particular match. Yeah. But actually, you know, he had a good game beside that, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And Fabio Capello said it himself. People make mistakes. You know, are we all talking about dropping Emil Heskey because he missed a chance? Well, yeah, OK, some people are. But, you know, a goalkeeper's error is obviously more costly than perhaps other places on the pitch, because if he makes an error, it's in the back of the net and it's a goal. However, you know, throughout a match, people do make mistakes. It's just a shame that it was costly for him. But you know, Fabio Capello's got other decisions to make. Does he stick Steven Gerrard out to the left and drop James Milner, who was taken off in the first half against America? Does he stick with Emil Heskey up front, or does he choose to play Crouch or Defoe or even Gerrard off him and stick Joe Cole on the left?
Yeah, because
it's interesting.
The Algerians, it said, don't have an awful lot up front because they're aware how much we have up front. Yeah. So they're concentrating more towards the back of the field, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they'll concentrate on being hard to beat. Algeria, you know, a team that England really would be expected to beat and beat reasonably comfortably, of course.
But there's a concern about who's this player that's kind of like the Algerian equivalent of Beckham, which we really need to look out for this evening. I can't remember his name, actually.
But they've got me as well, the Algerian Beckham.
They've got a couple of players that we're starting to kind of worry about a little bit.
Well, they have got players who've got experience in British football. Majid Bagheera, Nabil Belhadji and Nassim Yebda both played for Portsmouth last season, so they'll know bits and bobs about the Premier League and our players. But honestly, I do think that Algeria should be worrying about us. They should be worrying about us. We should prepare. OK, yeah, look at the team that you're playing against and look at their dangers. But England are far more talented than this Algeria side. So really, we should be setting up our system and letting them worry about us, really, because we do have the quality to beat them, and we need to beat them, of course, if we're going to have any realistic hopes of doing a good World Cup.
What is the outcome today if we don't make it? It's not going to happen, of course. I'm just asking theoretically, but
don't like pessimism.
What haven't? No, not at all. I'm there. I told you I booked my place on the next door couch. We've sorted out big pan of chilli. It's all sorted. I'm going to be there with my vuvu.
On your phone and
yeah,
we've got
absolutely.
As well, of course. But yeah, I think England can still go through if they don't win today. Okay. However, it does make the task a lot more difficult. It depends a lot as well on the result of the USA and Slovenia game, which is this afternoon.
That's a key one, isn't it? That's the 3:30 game, isn't it, today?
3 o'clock it is.
3 o'clock today. Yeah. That's going to be a key one. We need to keep an eye on that one, don't we?
Yeah. Probably the best result maybe would be a Slovenia win and then England to beat Slovenia in the final game. It shows we finished top of the group. If America win and we win, we've both got 4 points, so it would go down to the last game as to what happened and who finished top. We do really want to finish top of the group. It ensures an easier game because it looks like we'll probably face Germany if we finish second, and we all don't want that because we'll go out on penalties, and that's the way it always works.
Yeah, that's not a great prospect. We can see the fixtures there coming up for the weekend there as well. Of course, today's 3 games there. Germany, Serbia, again. Is that a foregone conclusion, do you think, the outcome of that one?
Not necessarily.
Germany, a very strong side.
Yeah, Germany had a great start as well against Australia, beating them 4-0, perhaps the best performance of any one team in the tournament so far. Serbia got beat by Ghana, which in a way was a strange result in the first game. So obviously they'll need to win if they're going to have any hopes of staying in the competition. They've got some good players as well, Serbia. They're a tough side. People like Nemanja Vidic, of course, of Manchester United, and Krasic in midfield, who's particularly dangerous. But Germany did start so well, so you'd expect them perhaps to come through, come good again, of course.
And of course that's today and ongoing, but it's been an interesting week as well, hasn't it?
It's been a very great interesting week. When I came on on Monday, there was a slight disappointment in my voice about how it had gone so far and so on. But I wouldn't say it's caught fire as such.
No,
but
but
there's
it's
been
ramped
some
up a
much
bit,
more
isn't
interesting
it?
moments. The one that's really stuck out for me was New Zealand and Slovakia. Now, not the two most famous footballing countries in the world. It was 1-0 to Slovakia going into injury time, and New Zealand scored a very, very, very late equaliser. Cue manic celebrations, and for me that's what the World Cup's all about. A lot of people have criticised why New Zealand should have been able to get to the World Cup. Their passage is a little bit different to other parts of the world because the area that they're in is so weak. But that was their first point in World Cup history, and it was a fantastic moment for the nation and for the country, and they've said it's encouraged a lot of people to perhaps be more interested in football than they have been before. So if we can create another footballing hotbed on the basis of one goal in the last minute at the World Cup, then that's what it's all about for me. It's fantastic. So that was a great moment. Brazil and North Korea brought up some interesting points as well.
It was a bit of an interesting one, wasn't it? And that was more about what happened afterwards as well. Wasn't it?
I mean, you expected Brazil to absolutely wipe the floor with them, really.
There have been some big surprises though this week, haven't there?
Yeah, North Korea were 105 in the world compared to Brazil, who were first in the world. They got beat 2-1, North Korea. So a win for Brazil. But let me get this right. The Pyongyang Democrat paper in North Korea reported a 29-0 win for North Korea, and the political leader Kim Jong-il scored 28 goals. So congratulations to him.
It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, it's such a closed country, isn't it? I mean,
unbelievable.
You only ever hear what they want you to hear. Sadly, it's quite sad. It's quite amusing for us to watch from the outside because that is propaganda at its finest, isn't it? But at the same time, it's quite sad, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, I suppose.
It's quite sad.
Another point that's sad is for Spain.
I know.
The tournament favourites for many people, and they were beaten 1-0 by Switzerland. No idea.
What happened there?
No idea. Spain probably didn't play as well as they could, but Switzerland just made themselves tough to beat. Perhaps playing a way that Algeria will play against England tonight, trying to ensure that they don't give anything away, nothing sloppy. They scored a goal on the break, which a certain someone put down to the goalkeeper. Now, Iker Casillas, a Spanish goalkeeper, his girlfriend works for Spanish TV and was doing the post-match interviews. So she, of course, picked a boyfriend who was in that.
You'd think that would be a vested interest and it would be quite an easy-going interview.
I don't think that would happen in England somehow.
No. Although who knows these days?
Well, that's true.
The strangest ladies become wags. You know, it's unlikely combinations come together.
Sarah Carbonera asked him, first question, so how did you manage to muck that up then?
That's so honest though, isn't it? But I bet he was mortified at having been asked that question because he must have had in his mind, one, what on earth are you asking me that question for? And two, what's the manager thinking at this interview? And three, what are the home fans thinking?
Well,
because they probably were all thinking that, but it's how it looks to the rest of the world in the tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, well, especially it being someone as personal as your girlfriend asking the question as well. And I'm sure there was words said.
I bet it was a very interesting. I bet it was an interesting evening in their hotel room that night, I would imagine. There's also been in terms of the France-Mexico result. That was yesterday, wasn't it?
That was last night, yeah.
That was another strange result.
There's been so much disharmony in the French camp.
They're not getting on at all, are they?
No, Raymond Domenech, the manager, is due to leave after this World Cup. He has been in charge for a while, of course, took them to the final of the World Cup 4 years ago. But there's been lots of different rumblings of disharmony, like I said. Patrice Evra has been named captain of Manchester United. Now, William Gallas hoped himself to be named captain, Arsenal defender, of course, and he's said that he won't do any press throughout the whole of the World Cup because he's not happy with that decision. Half the squad wanted Thierry Henry to be named in the starting lineup for each of the games. Now, he hasn't been named in either of the lineup. Sidney Govey, who's been named in favour, they weren't happy with that. And also Florin Malouda, who started last night but missed out on the first game because he'd had an argument with Dominic just 24 hours before the first match. Now, that has transferred to the pitch. They've drawn 0-0 with Uruguay and they've got beat 2-0 last night by Mexico.
There's a massive lack of respect for him, it seems, and that's
so,
what's being reported as well, is that they're having real issues there. Listen, we're out of time already.
Unfortunately.
How quickly does it go? Now, listen, let's do some score predictions for tonight.
Okay.
We've got to win it, so we've got to do winning predictions, definitely. So what is it going to be, do you think?
I think England, obviously, like I say, need to win, but they need a good score as well in case it comes down to goal difference if USA win both their games and we do. So, optimistically, 3-0.
And victory for Rooney in that comparison to Winston Churchill?
Let's hope so.
So you say?
3-0.
3-0. Do you know what? I was going to say exactly the same. I'm going to have to go a little bit higher, a bit more optimistic.
Very good.
I'm going to go 4-1. I'm going to give Algeria a goal at least. 4-1. Let's see how that turns up. Ian, see you here on these big, beautiful chairs Monday morning.
Hopefully wearing a big smile.